want to trust that you're doing okay since the last time we had our previous lesson and you're looking forward for today's lesson. Remember that these lessons are brought to you courtesy of Great Achievers Online Schools. Find here lessons for other subjects such as mathematics, chemistry, biology and physics. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you can join this great community, as well as ring that bell so that whenever an update is released on this platform, you are in a position of seeing it. We are looking forward to hearing from you. That's why you should leave us a comment on the comment section so that we can know how our service delivery is and aim at serving you better. On our previous lesson, we had a detailed discussion on the types of business activities that we have. We started with defining business activities, where we say that these are activities which involve the provision of goods or services with an aim of earning a profit. We said that those activities that do not involve profit making are referred to as non-business activities, such as humanitarian based organizations or NGOs that give out charity. We then went ahead to look at the types of business activities that we have. We looked at extraction. We say that extraction, it involves obtaining goods from their natural setting. We gave an example of mining. We went ahead to look at processing, where we said it involves the conversion of raw materials into more useful products without combining it with other goods. We then went ahead to look at manufacturing, and we say that it involves combining different raw materials to come up with one final product. We also looked at distribution, and we said these are activities that involve the moving of goods from where they are produced to where they are needed. We looked at trade activities. Then we said that trade activities involve the buying and selling of goods with a view of making a profit. While the last category that we looked at of business activities is provision of services. We say that it involves activities that are human acts, which could be either mental or physical. An example that we gave is hair cutting or hair styling. Also looked at car washing as one of the activities that involve the provision of services. Remember that if you've never catched us up on our previous lesson, you can click on the link that is on your far right, and it will lead you to our previous lesson, where you can be able to have an extensive look at what we covered. On today's lesson, we are going to look at business environment, define what business environment is, and also look at the categories of business environment that we have. We're going to define them, and we're going to look at how these environments affect the business. We're going to look at specifically internal business environment, which is one of the environments that affects businesses, and have an extensive discussion on the same. Now, to start with, we are going to look at what an environment is. According to the dictionary, the term environment refers to the surroundings or conditions which a person or animal lives or operates in. Similarly, just like a plant, just like an animal or a person exists in a surrounding or conditions that affect them, a business also does exist in the midst of conditions, factors, or surroundings that affect its day-to-day business activities, and this consists of its environment. To help us understand this business environment better and be in a position of defining it, let us look at this scenario. Just imagine yourself as a principal of your school in one particular day. What would consist of your surrounding? I hope that you have conceptualized your environment. You've seen what exists within the school environment that surrounds you and what exists outside the school environment that surrounds you. Now, if you're to talk about what exists in the school environment, or what consists of your internal environment, then we are going to talk about students. We're going to talk about the school infrastructure, that is the dormitories, the classrooms, the bus park. We're going to talk about the school vehicles, that is the bus or van that exists in your in your school. We're also going to talk about the school policies, that is the school rules and regulations. We're going to talk about the school motto. We are going to talk about the school vision, where it sees itself in a couple of years. We're also going to talk about the school staff, that is the teaching and non-teaching staff that exist in school. And that is what consists, among many other components that exist in your internal environment. When you talk about what exists outside the school confines, we are going to talk about the school board of governance or the school board of management. It consists of individuals who are majorly come from outside the school. That is, if the school has a board of directors, if the school has members of the BOM, majority of them consist of the parents of the of the students, the neighbors of the school, as well as representatives from the county education office. The school external environment also consists of the neighbors who surround the school, because the school cannot exist as an island. It does have neighbors which surround it, and these neighbors actually impact the day-to-day running of the school in one way or another. Now, as the school principal, you have to ask yourself this question: of these two environments that we've talked of, which environment do you have the capability of manipulating? I want to believe that all those components that exist in your internal environment, say the teachers, say the student, the school policies, as well as the school infrastructure and finances, are within your control. You have the capability of controlling them. You have the capability of affecting how they behave, how they carry out their activities in the school, that is regards to the school staff as well as the students. And you also have control over the school infrastructure. If in any case there is any projects that are being done in school, you can be able to do construction, you can be able to do repair, you can be able to manipulate the physical structures of the school. You are also in control of the school finances. You are the one who authorizes the accounts office to give out or remit a certain amount of cash towards a specific project or towards a specific function in school or outside the school. So you have the control of the school finances as well as the school policies. Amongst other stakeholders in school, you have the capability of changing the school rules, amending the school rules. You have the capability of changing the vision and of course the school motto, so that it can suit the needs of the institution. If we can talk about the external environment, remember that you, as the school principal, you are the secretary to the school board of management, which basically is the governing body of the school, and therefore you have a limited control, if there is any, of what usually happens in the board of management, because there is a chairman who basically is the head of the board of management, with his or her committee, are responsible for steering the school towards a given direction. You have limited powers on what you can be able to control in the school board of management. Same can be said to the school neighbors. I mean, you as a school principal cannot determine what the school neighbors decide or not decide to do. Similarly, a business has an internal environment and an external environment, which consists of which actually build up the business environment. And the business, just as a principle, has powers to affect changes in the internal environment. The business also has powers to manipulate the internal business environment, and of course limited or no control over what consists of the business external environment. Now we are going to look deeper into what the business environment is and be able to understand it. To start us off, we are going to look at internal business environment, and basically this is an environment that comprises factors that are within the business unit itself. These factors can be controlled fully by the business. The business has full control over these factors. It can manipulate them however it wants. It is subject to its own discretion. Whatever it decides, it's what happens, and all the powers of manipulating this environment are vested on the business. Well, examples of these factors include objectives of the business, management policies and style, business structure, business resources, business culture, as well as owners. On today's lesson, we are going to look at four of these. That is objectives of the business, management policies and style, business structure, business resources, and the rest of the two we're going to look at them on our subsequent lesson. Diving deeper into internal business environment, we're going to look at the first factor, that is objectives of business. And basically these are targets or goals that are set by the owners or managers of the business and are bound to be achieved. These factors actually determine the strategy that a business is going to model and use in its day-to-day business activities, as well as the resources that are required for the business to start and run swiftly without any issues or any problems. These will help the business to determine the amount that is enough so that it can prevent wastage and of a good quality to start and run a business without any hiccups. The second factor that we are going to look at is management policies and style. And when you talk about management policies and style, we are first going to look at what management is. And management, or the management, refers to the people who are responsible for directing the day-to-day operations of a business. Examples of managers include the sales manager, include the operations manager, include production manager, and these are people who are responsible for directing the day-to-day operations of businesses. They set up policies, they ensure that these policies have been implemented and of course supervised to ensure that the progress of the objectives and policies that they have set is part to their liking. Now this goes in a long run in achieving the goals and of course the objectives that the business has set. The next term that you're going to look at is the term policy, and basically policy refers to the adopted way or the established way of doing things in a business. I can give you an example such as your school. Your school has policies that enable the smooth running of the business. I mean, they are basically the established way of carrying out things in school. In your school, I tend to believe that there is a policy where each and every student is supposed to wear full school uniform. Therefore, if you are a student in the school, it is expected of you to don on full school uniform. By doing so, you would have conformed to the policies of the school, because that is basically the established way of carrying out activities in the school. I want to believe that you've gone to institution where you've seen a poster that is written, "This is a corruption-free zone." That is a policy that the institution has drafted, and the institution expects the policy to be adhered to the letter. If in any case you're caught in indulging in corruption activities, then you are liable for prosecution. Another policy that is very common is "do not step on the grass" policy that is found in most institutions that have their offices, or rather they have landscaping within the premises. They don't expect you to trespass to the grassland areas or the landscaped areas and start stepping on the grass. If you're caught doing so, then you will face consequences for actually going against the policies of the institution. So there are so many policies that have been drafted and implemented by various organizations to suit the objectives and of course the goals of the institutions. We're going to look at how these policies and of course management styles affect the day-to-day operations of the business. Now, a company or an organization decides through its managers to abolish their members joining trade unions. Its overall effect is that it is going to raise tensions and interfere with the performance of the employees, and later on result to inefficiency in the organization. Policies are supposed to be adopted by the business so that they can boost the growth of the business. If they are done without taking much consideration on its effect on the overall performance, it's going to hinder the growth and survival of the business, and hence result to business failure. Management policies overly do affect the activities of a business. They do determine activities that the businesses are going to carry out, that is the goods and services to be provided. They're also going to determine the geographical location of the business. They're going to determine where to source raw materials, the size of the market that the business is going to serve, and so many other things that drafting or coming up with management policies, they are to be taken into consideration. If poor policies are adopted, then the business is going to miss on these key factors, such as the types of goods or services that are going to be provided, the location of the business, the market size that is going to be targeted by the business, and hence lead to business failure, because these components that determine, if management policies are done well, they determine how fast a business grows or declines. We talk about management styles, we basically refer to the methods a person or managers use to manage individuals, meetings, projects, or groups of people in an organization. Effective managers basically use different management styles to support their needs and goals at any given time. And when deciding management styles to use, they might consider, the volume of work that they do have, the industry and company culture, the personality and management qualities, their team and company goals, and the attitudes and personalities of the people they are managing. Students, when you further your academics, you're going to learn that there are different types of management styles, and I'm just going to brush them through. That is, we have authoritative, we have consultative, we do have democratic or participative, we do have laissez-faire, and we have persuasive, among many others that you are going to learn once you further your academics. So basically what we are saying that these management styles determine how workers relate with their managers. These management styles can either influence workers to perform either positively or negative, and affecting the overall performance of the business. For example, if the managers decide to pick on authoritative or adopt the authoritative style of management, then it means that they are solely responsible for making decisions of the business, and they expect all the workers of the business to adopt all those policies that they have set, all the objectives that they have set, or all the plans that they've made without any consultation. These can work to the benefit or to the detriment of the business, because when workers feel like their voices are not heard, then it can affect their morale, hence the overall performance or output of their work. The next factor that we are going to look at is business structure. And when you talk about business structure, it refers to the formal arrangement of activities that are carried out at the various levels of the organization so that objectives of the business can be achieved. Remember that duties and responsibilities of all workers are defined in the business structure. This helps to avoid ambiguities and confusion in the business, because each and every worker knows what is expected of him or her, and their roles are well tabulated, hence ensuring clarity and efficiency in terms of how they execute their responsibilities. What we are saying here is that a well laid out business structure is likely to lead to the success of the business. It does ensure proper control, which in turn promotes efficiency. It ensures that there is teamwork in the business. Workers are able to work together towards achieving a common goal and objective, and it will help to avoid conflicts or confusion among the workers, because as we've said earlier, the workers know what is expected of them, they know their responsibilities well, and they know in the event of an issue who to report to, what is the leadership structure, who are they answerable to, and hence avoiding conflicts in the business. It also helps in a faster flow of information, that is, right from the workers all the way to the top managers, and from the top managers all the way to the list. The last factor that we are going to look at is business resources. Remember, we're still looking at internal business environment, and when we talk about a resource, it refers to anything that can be used to achieve an objective or the objectives of the business. The first resource that we're going to look at is human resource, and when you talk about human resource, this refers to the employees that are working in the organization, or the personnel or staff that are working within an organization. Look at an example of a school. The employees that are employed in the school include the teaching and non-teaching staff. When you talk about the teaching staff, it refers to all the teachers who are actively involved in teaching students. When you talk about the non-teaching staff, include all the staff that are not involved in teaching. That includes the cooks, the security officers in the school, the school nurse, the school accountant, the school secretaries, and all those employers who are working in the school that are not actively involved in teaching. So many other organizations have employees that suit the needs of the institutions, and it's very important for any institution to match the skills of the employees to the jobs that they are going to assume in the institution. In the instance of a school, you cannot take a school cook to assume the responsibilities of a school teacher if he or she is not qualified for the position. This will end up bringing up issues in terms of delivery, and hence result to failure of the business. Now, having looked at human resource, we are going to look at the second resource that we have, and that is financial resources. And this refers to the money that is required in order to start and operate business. A business that has adequate finances and that are properly allocated to the various activities and monitored to ensure that there is better usage, is bound to be successful compared to a business that lacks such. The next resource that we're going to look at is physical resources, and when we talk about physical resources, it includes all the tangible facilities which belong to the business, such as buildings, machinery, furniture, and stock. The availability of such facilities enables the business to operate smoothly, hence achieving its objectives. These resources need to be properly maintained to ensure that they are working perfectly. The last resource that we are going to look at is technology, and basically it refers to the skills and methods used in production of goods and services. The use of modern technology brings about efficiency in the production of goods and services. We can be able to look at an example here where a farmer has upgraded from the use of an ox plow to a tractor. The tractor can be able to do so many things compared to an ox plow, which includes planting of seeds, preparing of the tilling land, mowing of grass, harvesting, and of course ferrying of harvested food products from the farmlands to the storage compartments. We have indeed come to the end of today's lesson, and we have gotten an opportunity of continuing with the topic of business and its environments. We have looked at the two types of business environments that we have, that is internal business environment and the external business environment. These are also referred to as micro environment and macro environments respectively. We have also looked at the composition of the internal business environment and how they affect the business. We have looked at 4 of these factors or compositions, and we have looked at basically how they do affect businesses. We don't leave it here. Make sure that after these classes you go and do more research on the things that we have covered and get more insight on the content that we cover, and look for questions, if any, and see whether you are in a position of answering them or not. And in any case you find any problem, you can always post it here, and a feedback is going to be sent to you. In our next class, we are going to continue with the remaining 2 compositions of internal environment, as well as look at the external environment and how the components of the external environment affect business. For your to-do assignment on this lesson, you are going to state 4 micro internal factors that may lead to the failure of a business. These to-do assignments are to help you go and revisit the work that we've covered and do more research on your own to know and to have the skills of answering questions that are mostly tested in the KCSE exams. Well, this brings us to the end of our lesson. I hope this lesson has been informative to you. You've learned something new, or you have reinforced what you learned in school. Really looking forward to hearing from you. Ensure that you leave a comment on the comment section, and kindly don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It's absolutely free, so that you can be part of us, so that you can join us and help us grow this community and be able to reach out more students like you, and ensure that they also get the content that is being delivered on this platform, the lessons that are being presented on this platform, so that they can also learn just like you. And ensure that you also hit that bell button so that you will get updates once they pop up. It's also important for you to share this platform with your friends and those who you deem would benefit from the lessons and content that is being presented on this platform. This lesson has been brought to you courtesy of Great Achievers Online Schools, our frontier in homeschooling. That's all from me, and I want to wish you all the best in your remaining part of the day, and may the Almighty God bless you even as you continue with your daily activities and chores. Goodbye.